your cameras on yet, shame on you. You know Dave's rule. Cameras on, eyes front. Unless you're driving or doing other things that I don't need to know about. That's okay too. Before we go ahead and jump into today, I just kind of want to say, press and record. Where are we at from yesterday? What did you guys think of yesterday? What did you take from yesterday? What were your ahas from yesterday? This is one of those times where you talk.
Hey, Dave, it's Mark. I'll start. I've joined from Berkshire. Actually, I've been an agent for 5 years, so I'm with Keller in Ocala, Florida, and here in Leesburg. So I've been a little bit familiar with the command. Unfortunately, I had to only be on there for an hour yesterday because I was also going through the contracts class that Vesta was doing. But being in command for the last 8 months, I mean, the intranet, the stuff you were showing on the intranet was a big takeaway for me. There's just a lot of updates and sections where we need to do it. So I think once you get it all piecemealed together, all in command, it's going to be awesome. I mean, it already is awesome compared to some of the tools I've used previously with other brokers. So it was very beneficial to me. Thank you.
Excellent. And I love having that insight coming from somebody else and maybe use something else that's out on the street. And yeah, we are not a finished, polished, shiniest thing on the shelf, but here's what we are. We are continuously evolving, implementing, and changing. And this is what I love to be true. The moniker around Command, and what we've always said, is built for agents by agents. And the reason we can say that is that, one, we're a real estate company building our own tools. And two, when we roll things out, right, and we test them, we actually test them in the field, right? So we have a thing called labs. And I can recommend agents, Marcus can recommend agents, and as you're utilizing things, you may get asked to participate in a lab. And it's not even for the most seasoned agents, it's for new agents. There are different labs that we're testing things out. So they take a lot of the live feedback that we provide to them as we're testing these things out and implement them into the process. And sometimes something new comes out, it doesn't work, we pull it back, or sometimes something new comes out and it evolves into something else. So that's what I really love about this platform, is that I'm on the inside. I get to kind of see a little bit of the roadmap. I don't get to make the roadmap. It would look a little different. My influence was completely involved in that, but that's okay. But you all have some say and some feedback. And one of the things I didn't touch on yesterday, I wanted to make sure that I kind of led off with today. There's one of the domains, and I left it off the sheet yesterday, and you guys can all go there. It's called ideas.kw.com, and I'll put it in chat for you. Ideas.kw.com. And what that is literally the ability for agents to collaboratively recommend and vote up and ask for new things to be added to command. Tweaks, changes, or completely new revamps or implementations of functionality that's not there yet. So you can go to ideas.kw.com and ask for things, and then take the links. One, you can search to see if your idea has already been suggested in some variation. Add comments, feedback, and vote it up, and then take that link and share it with others and get them to vote it up. Because here's what is actually true, is that every Monday, KW, KWX, Carl, Gary, Jason, and the powers that be, David, Greg, they look at ideas.kw.com, what the agents are talking about, what the agents are asking for, and they take that very seriously and tie that back to the roadmap to say, hey, how easily is something like this achievable? How does this apply to something else that we're already implementing or rolling out? And how much of a pain threshold or how much of an itch the agents have around a particular topic that they can incorporate into the development plan. So don't ever assume, right? There's that word my father always used, right? Don't ever assume, David. You guys know what assume is, right? You make an ass out of you and Vicky. That's right. We're asked out of you and Vicky. Don't ever assume. Don't ever assume somebody knows something. Don't ever assume that your opinion doesn't matter. Don't ever assume that somebody else may have asked for it already. Take initiative, take the bull by the horns, and provide your feedback. That's only right, team. Together, everyone achieves more. That could not be more true in the development cycle of the platform that we're utilizing in our day-to-day world. Does that sound good?
Mm-hmm.
All right, awesome. Anybody else? Any ahas to share from you? Say thanks, Mark.
Yes, it was good introduction about our own website and how we can change pages, information on that. That was very useful. I like that.
Great. And obviously, we're keeping it simple for you guys because a lot of this launch and implementation. There'll be other classes either at the
Thank you for that.
in the region, right, that you guys can leverage and start doing more. But we got to start somewhere, right? Otherwise, I literally could turn this into a 2-week, 2-hour-a-day class without batting an eye. But I'm not going to do that to you.
I have a couple of questions before we start, if you
Sure.
mind. I want to learn about sending emails through agent, our command. How we can send emails through command, one by one or in bulk. And also how we can share some posts on social media through command.
Yep. So we're going to cover email today when we talk about smart plans. And we're going to talk about social media tomorrow when we talk about designs and campaigns.
Okay.
Absolutely. Those topics will be covered. Good questions.
Thanks.
Anybody else? All right.
Hi, I have a quick question.
Oh, go ahead.
It's kind of, it's along the same lines. So I didn't have it together enough this season, but next season, like to mail out cards, like physical mail, does command let you do that?
It does. It's called direct mail.
Okay.
We'll touch on that tomorrow a little bit in campaigns. But yeah, there is a direct mail platform that you can send out directly to neighborhoods and areas or zip codes through a partner that KW has. Yep, that'll be a part of tomorrow's conversation. All right, excellent. Anybody else have questions, ideas, or what are we going to cover or ahas? Somebody's driving.
Well, I have this is Sabrina. Good morning, everybody. I was able to create my signature for my emails. I went into command and went in designs, and it took me a little bit, and I got it done. I was communicating with Mitzar, and it was really nice. Good morning, and I got it done. I'm really excited and ready to learn about the next thing we have on the agenda today.
So I'm glad that you jumped right into it and you said, I'm going to do this, right? And that's how we learn, right? I told you guys yesterday my story, right? Like I'm a realtor and I have been for 14 years. I became an instructor just because I volunteered to teach. I volunteered to teach because I wanted to know. And for me, the way that my mindset worked, in order for me to know something, I had to throw myself into it. And what better accountability partner than volunteering myself to be in front of a class and teach somebody how to do something I didn't know how to do yet. So kudos to you for taking that same type of action. You never know where that will take you. All right, so let's jump into today's slide deck. All right. Share my screen. Just a quick subtle reminder of who your Mark Center Tech trainers are, right? Did everybody reach out to their person? Did they add them to their world? Did anybody not know who their Mark Center Tech trainer was yesterday? Okay, well, that's good. So these are your Mark Center Tech trainers. So they're your relationship partner. They're your me in your world. And for some of you, I'm your me. I am me. Does that make sense? Is that a word? I am me. Lauren, am I in me? Is that right? Is that how that works? I'm your me to you?
Yep.
Okay. Some of you have a Shirley. Some of you have a Shelly. Some of you have a Ted. Some of you have a Dave. Sorry about that. All right. Command. Your data bank is your everything, right? And I'll start with a little joke. Why do we call it the data bank?
It's your database of all your sphere, your clients, customers.
But it's even more simplistic than that. It's where the money is. Where the money is, right? Without the contacts, what is there? Data bank is everything in your business. It's where you are. So part of yesterday's action steps right, was to start giving some thought about to the people in your world, right? People say, I don't have contacts. And I'm like, really? Let's talk about that for a second. Who thinks they don't have contacts in their world? Can you come up with 100 people? Can you come up with 50? Let's start smart. Can you come up with 10 people to put in your database? Can you come up with 50 people to put in your database? Can you come up with 100 people to come up to put in your database?
I didn't put more than 500.
Can you put more than 500 people in your data bank? Right? The answer is yes, you can. And for a lot of people, it's a brain freeze. I don't know that many people. I'm like, really? Open up your Facebook account. How many friends do you have on Facebook? And people laugh, right? Ebony, yeah, right? Ebony, how many friends do you have on Facebook? I bet you got like 5,000.
I think 130 last time I checked.
130. Okay, that's close, right? So people, they don't think of Facebook as a database, but guess what? It is, right? Your social media connections, the people that you're friends with online, whether it's social media and LinkedIn or Instagram or Pinterest or whatever, right? Snapchat, right? For all you kids out there, that's your sphere. That's a social sphere. And how you leverage that information in real estate is gold, because guess what? People love to talk about themselves. People love to share information about themselves. They just want to be loved and heard. Am I wrong? We all fit into that category too. Some people absolutely hate it, and I get that too. Get over it. Get over it, right? Because it's a tool. You got to look at it for what it is. It's a tool. Now, can you destroy your business through social media? Yeah. Be real careful. Be very, very careful about what you say and how you share, because people are watching. Right? People take things personally. People take a lot of things personally, and I understand that, but it's very divisive. You know what to say about opinions, right? Okay, we'll just leave that at that, right? So be careful with what you say. Actually, I remember when I first taught my very first Facebook class, probably 6 years ago, 5 years ago, I had an agent who's a very successful agent, now a team leader in our organization. And he was wearing a shirt that said F Cancer, and he was at an F Cancer rally. Okay. Made a post on Facebook about F Cancer. Somebody complained about him to his broker and wanted him fired. That's the world. Right? That's the world. Right or wrong, it's the world. So be careful. It's a tool, it's dangerous, and it's incredibly valuable, right? Do people say and put things online that might lead you to believe they're going to do something to buy, sell, or invest in real estate? Does that happen every single day for people in your world? It does. Are you watching? Are you listening? Right? Are you utilizing those tools that you're supposed to? Did you know that you could filter Facebook by friends list so that you actually see more people than you're friends with? We're going to talk about some of those things today, right? People say things and how you engage with them. They give you your birthdays, right? Did you know you can get birthdays from Facebook? They're not 100% accurate because some people put fake data in there, but a lot of it's true. Do you know why most people's birthdays are in Facebook? And I'll make this story really short and sweet for you, because some of you have heard me tell this a couple of times, right? When I joined Facebook in 2007, I was cautious. Okay, my wife was in security. Be careful what you're putting online. Well, hell, they got everything anyways, but be careful what you're putting out there, right? So I put a bogus birthday out there. Well, the following year, my real birthday was out there. And I always ask this, I said, you know why? And people come up with all these answers. They're watching, they know, you posted something. It's very, very simple. I changed it. I updated it. I put my real birthday in there. You know why? Because I'm vain. And I want people to say happy birthday to me. And you know what? And I want more people to say happy birthday to me than they say happy birthday to Julie. Don't take an offense, Julie. But that's what I want. I want 300 people to jump online and say happy birthday to me. And you're all laughing because you know I'm all right. You all want that too. And guess what? That first year, they didn't say happy birthday. You know why? Because my birthday wasn't there. So I changed it. So trust but verify when it comes to birthdays, because you're going to have a lot of friends and your Facebook friends list will grow. And it may not everybody that you're in personal relationship with. So you don't always know if those birthdays are accurate. Trust but verify. Wait and see if their grandmom said happy birthday or mom and dad said happy birthday, because guess what? Mom and dad and grandma aren't calling them anymore. They're just throwing it online with 75 other people and calling it a day. right? So if you're not sure, you can always verify it by checking at their dates. But I will show you that all that information is already in Facebook for you to start. So use the tools at your disposal. Anybody think I'm wrong? Who's all vain? You guys all vain? I'm vain. You're like, I'm not raising my hand. It's all right. I know who you are. Jason's laughing. He's like, crap, he figured me out. All right. So we talk a lot about profiles and social media engagement, but if you wrap your mind around and get over what Facebook is and recognize that it's a tool, you can leverage that and those other platforms in your world too. Okay. I gave you some information yesterday, and I want to just kind of pop off here real quick. I want to make sure y'all have it because I always get these questions. Was yesterday's class recorded? Well, in the link yesterday, when I emailed it out, I sent you a link to our YouTube channel. Did you all get it? Did you all go to YouTube? Did you all subscribe to the channel? Because you subscribe to the channel, you'll get updated every time we post new training videos. But you'll see under playlist is a January playlist, and yesterday's class is posted. So every day, sometime by the end of the day, next morning, we process the data. It's up the next day. And you can actually see every month's recordings are out there for every class I've ever trained over the last 6 months are all on the YouTube channel. So subscribe, follow, it's there. Speaking of Facebook, we have a regional Facebook page that I want you all to join. Okay. You'll see it. I'll throw it I'll throw it into Slack for you. Where did it go? What happened? I'll copy this. I'll put this in chat for you. It'll ask you a couple of questions. Basically, it's going to ask you what your market center is, who your team leader is, because I try to monitor the group as best I can. The reason this page is so valuable is that I'll post the recordings, I'll post different things, I'll post updates to command. I do cute little 3, 5, 10-minute videos on new releases. Agents come here and ask questions and look for support. My market center tech trainers will engage and answer questions. Other agents will answer questions and support. So this is a great place for you when we talked about self-advocacy yesterday to go and see what's going on. So join that Facebook group, join the subscribe to the YouTube channel, which I also put in Slack. And just because everybody always asks, yes, this is recorded. Yes, this is posted. Somebody will jump in here at some point today, put it in chat or ask the question, is this being recorded? I guarantee you. All right, so that's that. Close those off. All right, so who yesterday went and took, I don't like to call it homework, the action steps? Who started filling out the spreadsheet? Who started thinking about the contacts in their world? Who went and pulled their Christmas card list or their wedding list or any list that they have to start thinking about, or looking at Facebook and going, who are the people in my world that I need to talk to? Did any of you start doing that? Thank you, Mudsar. Thank you. Because here's the thing, right? We are in a relationship business. We are in a lead generation business. Anybody ever heard the saying, don't be a secret agent, right? We're not looking for James Bond here. You want everybody to know that you're an agent. Play on words there in case you were wondering, right? You want everybody to know that you're an agent, that you're a realtor, you're a professional. But here's the thing, it doesn't matter how long you've been in the business. The moment you say you're a realtor, they assume you know everything, which is in your favor. Don't be paralyzed by fear about what you know and what you don't know, because you know more than that person. And they automatically say, Mark, you've been in the business a little while. Am I lying? The moment somebody finds out you're a realtor, what do they ask you?
Immediate. What's my house worth?
What's my house worth? How's the market?
Yep.
You passed your test today. You're an expert. Own that. Own that about yourself. You have to educate yourself. You got to carry yourself in a way. But own that about yourself, and it's leverage. Okay? You automatically authority in real estate. Until you go to write the contract for somebody, then they know that. You'll learn that later. Right, Mark?
That is so true.
All right. Did you guys schedule headshots? Did you start working? Who started working on their bio yesterday? Everybody, that's the first thing everybody loves to rush right out and start working on that. And I'm lying. Nobody likes to do that.
Yes.
But it's something that has to be done, right?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Fantastic. Tags. Did you start penciling out what people have in common in your world? What does your universe look like? right? I always recommend that you write it out first, then create it on paper, because you want to get in the habitual habit of being consistent to yourself. Because here's the thing that's true. If you create things on the fly, you create chaos in your data bank. Garbage in, garbage out, right? So if I tag a group of people in my data bank and say, these are all the people that I know from hockey, and I call it hockey. But then later I add someone in my data bank and I call it Ashburn hockey. I've created 2 tags that mean the same thing. System doesn't know better. And now I've put people in different categories, right? So I have to be conscious. So what I recommend is when you write things out, you're deliberate about it, and maybe you keep it on paper until you internalize it all. So that as you're adding people and you're tagging people in your data bank, you're not creating something new. Or if you feel like you need to create something new, check your master list before you create something new. Happens all the time, right? I call it church, or then I call it the Presbyterian Church of Albany, right? That's the same thing to me, but in a rush, I create multiple tags that are redundancies in my world. Does that make sense to everybody? Let me show you how to build those a little bit, but I want you to be consistent. If you saw my desk and you saw how messy, it looks nice and neat behind me, but you can't see my desk. There's no cameras on my desk. If you saw my desk, you'd be like, whoa, what's this nonsense, right? I'm telling you, I know where everything, exactly where everything is. But in my data bank, consistency is key, because I forget once they're in there how I've structured some things out, okay? All right, thanks, Lauren. Thanks for sharing. All right, so pencil those out. Did you add 10 contacts to that contact info form? Who did that? Did you add 1? Did you add 5? Did you add 10? Great, because that's where we start. Did anybody go out and buy their GoDaddy domain name yesterday?
Yeah, I did.
Great. All right, and then I could, we could talk about forwarding if you need help with that, but I always say, hey, go talk to Marcus or Tech Trainer, that will help you forward that to your website. We didn't do the app yesterday. We're going to talk about that in a moment. Any questions from yesterday's action steps for you guys?
I have a question about the name, registering my name. I was looking for the right name on GoDaddy. So I was confused about the name. What should the name? I mean, could be like my first and last name.com, which was easy to find.
Yep.
But I was looking for some business name, like maybe Supreme Reality, or something like which I can carry on a longer period. I mean, my name is my name, but I want some business name.
Well, I'll tell you 2 things. One, your name is where you should start, right? Buy your name, because right now you are a solo agent. You're not Supreme Realty, right? So you cannot advertise yourself as Supreme Realty.
Okay.
Now, does that mean that you can't buy that domain? If it's available, no, you can buy it. You just can't market yourself that way. Okay. Now, here's what I will tell everybody. Always buy your name, right? Protect yourself. I have even bought my kids' names, right? Because my son is going to play in the NHL. One's going to play soccer. One's going to play hockey. I already know that. That's okay. So I bought their names, and I own their names for their .coms. They're 15 and 10 now, but I've owned them for about 7 or 8 years now, because I don't know what they're going to need in the future. So I pay $15 a year just to renew their names. There's no websites for them, but I own the domain names. I protect them. So you should always own your name, whether you're going to use it in your marketing or branding or not, first and foremost. And I recommend you buy your kids and grandkids if you don't have those already. 2, when you're going to become a brand, you can always buy a domain name that you'd like, and you can park it. And then when you become the brand, remember there's some legalities around that. In order to become Supreme Real Estate Group, or whatever that looks like, right? You have to be an LLC. It has to be approved by your broker. It has to be added to your license and on file before you can start marketing yourself that way. So I do want you to think big picture. I do want you to think of yourself as a brand, but I want you to start with your name.
All right. So it should be my first and last name.com, or should be like mudassarrealty.com?
No, don't incorporate realty, because you're not allowed, right?
Okay.
So you can't be anything more. When you're a solo agent, you cannot be anything more than your name or your name realtor.
Okay.
You can be Mudassar Jawar realtor.com, but you can't be realty.
Okay. mudassarrealtor.com. Okay. mudassarjora.com. I will go with that.
And the reason I like your name is because when people look you up the first time, they're looking you up by your name. So that kind of gives it some credibility. You're reaffirming you are who you say you are through your domain.
All right. Makes sense.
That's my recommendation.
Thanks.
Yeah. And again, they're my opinions. Does everybody do what I tell them to do? No. It's entirely up to you. I'm just giving you some best practices. All right. So yesterday, one thing we didn't cover was the app. Okay, so I wanted to get you all on your app. And I'm actually going to share this with you. So I want you to all go into your app stores if you haven't done this already. If you haven't, it's okay. I want you to go into your Google Play or your Apple Store, and I want you to download the KW Realty app. Okay. So I want everybody to go ahead and do that. And if you haven't, go ahead and open it up and you can go along with us. I'm going to share my screen here in a quick second. A sec.
Dave, one quick question.
Yeah.
There's several KW apps,
Yeah.
which is a little confusing.
Well, there are two KW apps. There's an events app, but KW only recognizes two, the real estate app and the command app. Now, there are other people that have built apps that are branding things that
Okay.
they shouldn't have.
I
But
got
the
it. Okay.
KW Realty app is your real estate tool for your consumers to search real estate, which we're going to talk about right now. And your KW Command app, which we will also have you download if you haven't done that already, is your connector and your portal into Command. But I do understand you may see some other things. You just have to pick the right one and just kind of look at it a little bit. I actually go into my
Thank you.
Play Store. Are you guys seeing my screen okay?
Yeah,
You're seeing my phone, right?
yeah.
All right, so if I go into KW and I'm searching, so I'm searching in Google Play because that's what I have. That's the KW Realty app. Okay, buy and sell real estate, Keller Williams Realty. It's white with a red KW. That's the real estate search tool, okay, that you're going to get in the hands of all your consumers. Okay, so what's important to know is that the KW Real Estate Search app, the Realty app that you're going to get your consumers, does not know who you are. I know I like to give you these little tongue twisters for clarification sometimes. It doesn't know who you are. It doesn't know that Lauren is Lauren the realtor. It doesn't know that Jason is Jason the realtor. Even if it's Jason logging in to search, it doesn't know that Jason is Jason. Okay, it's a consumer-driven tool. Now, Jason can choose Jason to be his realtor, which I'm going to show you here in a second. And then once Jason shares the app with other people, it'll brand him as their realtor. It's a little confusing, I know, but you just have to wrap your mind around the fact that the real estate search tool is a consumer-driven tool. It's not an agent tool. You don't log into the back end like you're the agent and do things. Is everybody clear as mud on that?
Mm-hmm.
All right, fantastic. So does everybody have the real estate app on their phone at this point? Okay. Does anybody have the app and they're not branded to themselves yet? Right? Ebony, are you Ebony the realtor for Ebony? Janora, are you Janora the realtor for yourself? And I know some of you are on teams or admins, and I get that. Mark, do you have yourself branded as Mark the agent on your phone? Like, that's what I'm asking you at this point. When you create an account, what I do recommend is use, so for clarity purposes, when I test myself out, I actually log in under my son's name and I use a different email address. So I'm not using all my own, because I don't want to confuse myself that I'm logging in as David the realtor, because I'm not. I'm logging as David the consumer. In this case, I'm actually logging in as Connor the consumer for my purposes. But under the More button on the bottom right-hand side, you'll see at the top, now I'm connected with David the realtor, right? So you can view David's profile, right? Or you can select from a list of realtors and choose yourself, which is what you want to do. So if anybody has not chosen themselves yet, now's the time you want to do that, okay? So has everybody, well, for the sake of time, has everybody already chosen themselves?
No, I mean, it was showing before, but after a few days, my name and everything disappeared. I mean, when I downloaded the app, I shared it with my couple of friends. It was showing my picture, my name, everything on the app. But after a few days, it's not there anymore. I complained about this to somebody in Scott Lee, really, yeah. But no one answer that question. And after that, when I now share, I share with that, from the website, my code, the number, and then it shows my name, but not from my application.
Okay. Now, are you on Apple or are you on Android?
Android.
Okay. One, select yourself. Now, just because if you get deselected doesn't affect anybody else, it's just affecting you. Make sure, who's your Mark Center Tech trainer?
Kyle.
Okay, make sure Kyle gets a ticket in on that. Okay.
Okay.
And have him do it. Now, remember yesterday I introduced you guys all to loom.com. You guys remember that?
Yeah.
So there's actually loom.com for your phones too. So you could actually record what you're doing on your phone on loom.com and send them that issue saying, look, hey, I've downloaded this, I picked myself and now I'm not there.
Yeah.
What's that called?
Loom, LOOM.com.
All right, thank you.
I use it on my desktop and I use it on my phone. It's free. Love it.
David, to make sure I understand, I have the app on my computer and I see my name. Does that mean I picked myself?
That's correct.
Or do
That's
I?
exactly
Okay,
what that
good.
means.
Thanks.
Now, once you've picked yourself, okay, you'll see that if you scroll down a little bit, there's a share app. So when you share the app and you click on that share app button there, what happens is it opens up your texting service on your phone. Okay. And you say, hey, I want to text this. Right. And then maybe I want to send it to Vicky. Okay. And what it does, it drops verbiage into the text. Now, remember, I told you this does not know that you're a realtor, right? This is your consumer's device or your consumer app. So if they're sharing it, think of it as sharing it with the consumer sharing. Okay. So the verbiage that comes up in the predefined text basically says, hey, use the KW at search homes with my agent, right? I'm sending it. So that sounds funny because I'm saying to my friend that I'm my agent. So, but you can go in there and you can change that text, right? It's just text. So you can go in and change that. You cannot change the default text. So every time you go to share it this way, the text message is going to read that way. So I just want to point that out to people because they always go, this is weird. And I'm like, you got to wrap your mind around why. Because you want your consumers to share. And in a perfect world, they're sharing it more than you are. Right. Now, what's important to know, and I'll show you a couple places to get to, is this first part. This is your mobile link. Okay. That kwri.app.link.code is your unique code. Okay. So what that means is that when you go to open that on a website, it's going to open on a landing page that's already branded to you. And when you share this with friends and they click on that download, it will automatically brand them to you where they don't have to go search for you. So you're doing it here first for yourself. You're your name, but when you share it and they click on that coded link, they will already be branded to you. That's what's important. Does that make sense?
And one more thing I would like to share that the special code thing, it should be uppercase, all of them. If it is lowercase, then it's not showing your name.
Oh, right here?
Yes, sir.
Right. And that's why I say to copy it and not retype it.
Yeah.
Right. And there, depending on, so there's other things that you can do. Now I'm not going to teach you how to do this, but there are things you can do. On your phone, you can actually create what are called short code, like default text. Apple can do it, Droid can do it. Where if you rewrote this message, copy and paste the link or copy and paste what you said and just share it with people, then you can do that quicker. Here's what I will tell you. When people are downloading your app, they're not going to download it because they saw it in your email signature, although it should be there. They're not going to download it because it was on a flyer. They're not going to download because you told them to. They're going to download because you sent it to them. So you want to be deliberate and you want to text message it to people and you want to instant message it to people through social media. If I just went to my Facebook page and say, hey, everybody, download my app, even my grandmom's not going to do it. But if I text my grandmom and say, hey, grandma, download my app so you can look at those wonderful retirement communities you want to see, that's just going to download it because it was personal. So understand the mindset of how I'm deliberately giving things to people and you'll win. All right. So what I want you guys to do, right, is play around with your phone, play around with the app, right? Know how to search for properties because you want your consumers using it. This thing is great because here's what happens. Once you're searching for properties and you start saving properties, guess what happens? Anybody have
I get notified.
Yeah, it all ties back to your contact record, right? And if they like properties, right? I create and I heart this property, right? It asks me if I want to add it to one of my collections and take notes. I, David, the realtor, see that on my command dashboard that this particular client was searching and liking properties in a particular neighborhood. Isn't that cool? So that's how you guys maintain insight of what's going on. I'm going to call it spying, but we maintain insight of what our clients and our consumers are doing. So you should master the app, know how to use it, the draw tools, the filter tools, the search tools, looking at things, right? There's lists, right? I can look at properties by list. When I click on a particular property, what information shows up on a property? Ask your agent. Guess what happens when I click ask your agent? Who does that go to?
Me.
Yes, yourself.
Right, right. And notice here, this particular property is in Pennsylvania. I'm not licensed in Pennsylvania, but my app works everywhere. So if they ask me for information on a property in Pennsylvania, guess what I get to do?
Referral.
Referral. You guys are paying attention now. Awesome. You're learning, right? They can use the KW app for get insurance quotes. They can get mortgage loan quotes right through the system. Property details are all there. They can schedule a tour, right? The tour is cool because then they could say, hey, I want to schedule a tour of this property in person or video, right? This is COVID, right? So last year and 2 years, we were doing a lot more tours through Zoom than in person, although we're starting to go in person again. But they can ask you, and they can also say, hey, here's the devices that I use. Can we meet on one of these platforms to do a tour of the property? So test this out, know how this works. Days on market, walkability score, commute times are cool. Your consumers can add a drive time in here. Now it's not connected to Waze, so it's not updating in drive time. But if I put it in my place of business, right, you'll see I've got a couple of options in here that I've got the White House and my office in here. It tells me this property is 2 hours and 45 minutes away from my office. So when they're looking at properties and they put in their location, it tells them how far away they are when they're looking at properties. Just a cool little thing. Public schools are there. Upcoming open houses are there. A payment calculator's there, and other nearby homes. All the information the consumer needs. Tax information's there. HOA information is there. So get comfortable, and then they could share it with other people, right? So they could share it. They could share it to you. Hemi been licensed for a while and get lists of properties from the consumers through other platforms, realtor.com, houses.com, zillow.com, right? So if you get them to use your platform, one, they don't need to send it to you anymore, although they probably still will, because you'll see it on the back end. But now they're looking at the same data you are, right? Because you don't get that list from Zillow of outdated listings, right, that are no longer on the market, that they get mad that they're seeing because they're losing on a platform that you don't use. Now, does that mean our platform is perfect? No. If you're missing your property, if you have a listing and it's not up within 30 minutes, send in a support ticket. Let your market start tech chart. Sometimes they have to refresh the back end. It's an imperfect world. It's an imperfect system, but we want to update them if we notice a discrepancy. Okay.
David, quick question.
Yeah.
Of course, I use Bright all the time, and I'll send my clients listings and set automatic searches all the time for my clients in Bright.
Mm-hmm.
And is there, so if they were using Bright all the time, then they would just have to put the address in here. Or could I set up searches on here that my clients would get? So
well, that's a great question, and I will show you how to do that. And here's my answer to that for twofold. One, I still like Bright the best for my clients that are in a buy now mode, right? Because things come and go so fast. I'm still going to set somebody up on an instant notification from Bright, just so we don't accidentally miss something. Okay, that's what I do right now. Now, for the 92% that aren't in a buy now mode, I coach them to create and do searches here, because once they create notifications on here, they receive push notifications to their phone. And you as the realtor can also create saved searches from command that will push out to your consumers. And I will show you that here in a little bit.
okay, awesome. Thank you.
Yep.
I had a question, David. How do we know if they actually downloaded it? And like you said, if they search, it would tell us. Where do we check that?
I will come back to that when we dive into the contact records, but you
Okay.
can tell, and I'll show
Okay.
you.
Lucky. You're cute.
Thank you.
Love you.
I love you too, Lindsay. Thanks.
Oh, I'm talking to my cat. I didn't know I was on mute. Well, I love you too.
Oh, fantastic. It melts my heart. All right. So that's the app. So go in there, play around with the app. You'd be surprised at what it actually does for you. And look at your engagement when you start utilizing it. So, because it all ties back to command for you, okay? Other things I could just kind of show you here real quick. We're used to like drawing maps. We're used to areas, right? So believe it or not, I can actually change. See how that, you notice how my display changed from flat to 2D? I do that by, so I take 2 fingers and I swipe up on my phone and it changes the display, right? To where I can actually zoom in and see building elevations. Most people don't know that that's there. I mean, how cool is that? Right? Is there a tall building behind me? Right? Is there a shopping center near me? When I zoom all the way in, I can see that. So just kind of a cool little 2D feature that most people don't know is there. Nice little touch. You could search by what I call monument search, right? So maybe I want to see all properties for sale around not just an area, but a monument. So maybe show me all properties around Central Park. Okay. And I just hit enter. So you'll see I get options. Is it looking for an address? Is it looking for a city? Is it looking for a neighborhood? I'm looking for none of them. I'm actually looking for Central Park. And check that out. It went to Central Park. And when I zoom out a little bit, right, I'm looking at Central Park and it showed me all the listings in the neighborhoods around Central Park. How cool is that? So you can coach people to look by cities, zip codes, neighborhoods, but also monuments, right? Because sometimes people say, hey, I want to be near the White House. I want to be near Central Park. I want to be near Lambeau Field. I want to be near a certain district. I want to be near the Heights. So you can search by those things and it'll drop you in on top of it. So anyways, just some cool things. I don't want to turn this into an entire app class, but I want you guys to be comfortable because here's what I want you to do. Action steps, right? Is 1, get comfortable with this. 2, I want you to share this with a bunch of people in your world and get your consumers utilizing this and comfortable and download and use it, because that is going to be the best tool that you can give anybody to establish your relationship and communication with them.
David,
Yeah.
David, it's Mark. Is this tied to MLS at all?
It's tied to what we call KWLS.
Yeah.
So KW, because we're a developer, we actually have access to all the listings. So we pull all the listings that are in the MLSs, okay, into your app for you. Like
And is that done?
There is a little bit of a lag, but it's all there.
What's the lag? Is it 12 hours, 6 hours, 24 hours?
This was, I should update within 30 minutes.
Oh, got it. Okay, thank you.
Yep. And remember, these are not just KW listings, they're all listings.
Yeah, this is a game changer. This is a game changer, guys. I did not have this in my last brokerage firm. And it was top 1, and I was one of the top producers there in my 4th year. So this is huge.
And check this out. I just typed in Bermuda. It's international.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Now, understand, international, not everybody has an MLS system. So anywhere that we could pull data from, we will. And we're adding more and more information every single month. Okay. So constantly look at different areas and think about your sphere, right? We live in a melting pot of an area where we've got friends and families all over the place, right? I've got family that lives in Germany, but I know Germany's not plugged in yet because the way they do things over there is a little bit different. But I could look in London, right? I can look in Bermuda. I can look at Costa Rica. Right, because I know we have partners in Costa Rica. So depending on how they're displaying the data, some areas we can pull that from. So the more you show your clients, the more they're going to love this and not need to use other things. Okay?
Hey,
So
quick
David, question.
Yeah.
Sorry. You go ahead, Lauren.
Oh, sure. Okay. I was in a quick question on what you just said. So the other things, Home Snap is one of those things that pulls directly from the MLS. So what, besides like it's directly connected to KW, this one, what's another perk of using this for Home Snap?
It's plugged in. The one and only reason is it's plugged into Command. And that's it, right? I want my clients to be able to converse with me as easy as possible without having to use another platform. And the story, right? I want to see what they're seeing. I want to know what they know. I want to look at what they're looking at. And I only can do that through Command without having to log into another platform. Make sense?
Yeah, my
Yes, and
question is, David, I'm
Uh,
sorry.
Go ahead, Sabrina.
So you, okay, are we only showing this to our clients? Because I was thinking about, if you were, because I got a lot of friends on Facebook. So if I were to post this and say somebody downloaded it and they wanted to find another realtor, or, how would that work if they find a property through my app, but they ended up getting another realtor to assist them, but they
Right.
use
The only
the
way to get a
information I
referral is
provided?
the only way to get a referral is to make the referral. Right. So what you want to do, if you share with people on Facebook, what I do recommend is that you instant message them, say, hey, download my app and search for property wherever you are, wherever you live. And if you see something you like, contact me and I will help you find the right realtor for you. Right. If they go and find their own realtor, even though they were using your app, you have recourse, right? But if they contact you directly and then you turn around and make a recommendation or referral to a local realtor in another area, then you can put a referral agreement in place.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Thanks.
All right, we got to move on. I know this is exciting new. Go play with it. You come back with questions each day, right? But we're quickly smoking out of time. All right, let me come back to my platform here. All right, so oh, that's the wrong one. All right, so we just did the app tour. So a couple of different things that I will tell you, and we can come back at the end. I'll kind of show. So there are ways you share the app, right? One, in your consumer. Remember yesterday we learned about consumer. I look at command. Remember in command at the bottom is that consumer when we launched your website yesterday. I'm just going to go in there so you have it, just so you know. But not only do you have your website domain, okay, right? When I go into site and app settings, there's a URL button. That's your code. If I click copy, right, that's your app code. And if you share that with people, right, and I just put tap or share that in the screen and say, hey, go here and download my mobile app. Because if they go to that, if you say, hey, go to the app store and download the app, they're going to download a generic app and they're going to have to search for you. That's why you want to share the link with your code. See how my picture's here? Now, when they download it, it'll brand them to me. Just a little quick search. Okay. Now, also, I forgot to show this to you. Also, from here, you guys can create a QR code. Does anybody know what a QR code is?
Yeah, they can scan it.
Right. They can scan it. So if you go to this landing page, which is branded to you, and you right click on your screen, see how it says create QR code for this page? That's your QR code. So what I've done, and I'll just, let me share my phone again 1 second, is that I took that QR code, let me reconnect to my phone here, give me 1 second. Come on, phone, sync up. There we go. Boom. Check this out. So I took that QR code that I created. Go back. Tech happens. There you go. So I have that QR code on my phone. So I bring that up on my phone and I'm with somebody, I'm like, scan this. How's that blowing your mind, Mark? Scan this, and then it prompts them to download my mobile app. Right? There's always ways to get creative and do different things. Pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
Well, just little tips and tricks. All right, let's jump back into command. So that's sharing your app. That is one of the most important things that you guys can do to kind of get your name out there, okay? Is get that app in the hands of everybody that you can. Share it at open houses, share it at family reunions, personal family reunions, right? Instant message people through Facebook, all that stuff.
Hey, David, does that automatically add them into your command SOI database?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, oh my God.
Yes, it is. So once they download the app and they have to create an account, because you can download the app
Yep.
and just search, but if they
Yep.
actually create an account, they're not already in your command, they'll
Yep.
come in as a new lead.
Perfect.
Oh,
Now,
that's
if
cool.
they're already in command, this is nuance. If they're already in command and they create an account, but they create an account with a different email address,
Yeah.
it will create a new contact. If
Yeah.
you create it with the email address you have on in command, then it'll recognize them. It's got to recognize them by email or phone number.
Okay.
But that's just some of the things. All right, so now let's talk about contacts, right? The importance of contacts, because contacts are your data bank, and that is everything, right? So I want to get you in the mindset of organization. I talked to you about building your tags first because garbage in, garbage out. So I want you to think about your thought process of what do people have in common, okay? Upload and command, get them with birthday pages and social pages. You can get that information from Facebook. Now, I don't have the time right now to dive into it, but if you want to stick around at the end of the class, I will show you how to pull some of this information from Facebook because there's a third-party integration that you can use, okay? Somebody's got to remind me to come back to this. I'm just running short on time for things I have to cover. Sound good? All right. Then you're going to activate smart plans. Well, we're going to talk about smart plans tomorrow, but your process should be every time you add somebody new to your database, you add them, you tag them, you add their information, you tag them, and then you activate a smart plan for them. We're talking about smart plans tomorrow, but I want you to get in the process of how do I communicate with people and what should my systems look like every time I add somebody new to my data bank, okay? All right, and then send an announcement to your database. So when you're using the smart plans, the first thing that should go out is welcoming them. Thanks for signing up, or for whatever the message was for how you put them in your database. Let them know, hey, I set you up, you're on a search, if that's what it is. All right, I sent you my mobile app, if that is. Or if they're a cold lead, welcome, I'll be reaching out, I'll be calling you, I'll be texting you, you're gonna receive a text. Think about the message for the person that you add and what buckets or categories do they fall into and what kind of system, or how do I want to follow up to, depending on AR, because there is not a one size fits all contact for all your contacts, right? Because we all meet different people in different elements of our world. So you're generic. You don't want to come across as generic. When we talk about the theming and social and relationships, you want to have a customized message to a degree, depending on how you added them, where they came from. So you should think that through. And then the last thing is you have to do the work. Like say, wash, rinse, and repeat. You have to be constantly feeding your database, right? You should be adding 10. You're brand new, you should add everybody you can add. But from there, if you add 10 people a day, if you share the app with 10 people a day, and you're constantly adding contacts, you're constantly building your pipeline. Now, does that mean that you should have 15,000 contacts? No, I think that's the wrong way. I'm careful. There are people that do that, and that's the way they do business. I'm a relationships guy, okay? But you have 1,000 or 1,500 people that are actively searching that you can track and keep up with and engage with, you're going to have a very successful business, but you have to be deliberate. And if you had 1,500 people and 10% of those, 150, were your core, okay? These are the people that will kill for you to have business, okay? 10% of them, okay? So 10 to 15 people are going to do something or know somebody that invests in real estate or buys real estate or sells real estate this year. Think about what that looks like in your world. If you had 10 people from your database that kill for you, and you got 10 deals from that, 10 deals in Northern Virginia is an average price point of almost $600,000. That's $6 million in production. That's $180,000 in commission at 3%. Is that a good living? Is that attainable? Is that achievable? Certainly is. It certainly is. And if you build it, it will come. I'm going to go all field of dreams on you, but if you build it, it will come. But you have to be deliberate. And I'm not just saying, hey, if you got 100 people in your database, you're going to get 10 deals. There are 10 people that are your core. That they, every time they hear the word realtor, they go, you know what? You got to talk to Deborah. And they share your app. And then they reach out to you and say, hey, Deborah, I gave your contact information to my friend Julie, and she's going to call you. And here's her number. If she doesn't call you, you should call her. That's what I'm talking about. Do you have advocates in your world? Got to develop them. Because here's what happens. A lot of times, agents create what we call orphans. Yes, orphans, right? Because if you've been in the business a while, you've lost clients. The question is, how deliberately did you follow up with your clients? Because I have sold, and here's the numbers. 89% of the people at the closing table said they will use their realtor again. Truth of the matter is only 12% of them do, because the realtors are terrible at follow-up. How often you follow up and communicate with the people in your database matters. I have sold houses to property 6 months after they closed on another property because a realtor disappeared and I engaged. Who are you going to be? Okay. Talk about relationship. This is a relationship business. Don't be a secret agent. So inside of Contacts, we're going to talk about Contact Health Score. So think about the SATs that we took in high school, right? You got 200 points for writing your name on the SAT, right? In your database, you get 20 points for having a name. You get 20 points for having a phone number. You get 20 points for having an email address. You get 20 points for having their home address or an address where they live. That's 80 points or 80%. The additional 20% is made up of, okay, their social connection. Are you connected with them on Facebook or Pinterest and Instagram? And did you put that link on their contact card? Did you tag them? Do I know them from church, from hockey, from a previous experience, my previous job? Did I tag them? Okay. Do I have them on a smart plan? Do I have their birthday? Do I know where they worked? Do I know what their job is? Right. The more you are in business with people and relationship people, I have referred clients to get jobs. I've reached out to clients to become realtors. Right. You want to be that yellow pages for your consumer because that they reach out to you for painters, carpenters, cleaners, gutters, snow removal, driveway expansion, whatever that is. You want to be a valuable resource to them that they call you for everything. And if their job changes, you're one of the first people they should tell. Or if they need a job. Okay. Think about who you are and what kind of value you bring to somebody. That's truly being in relationship with somebody. To get to that 100% means you know a lot about somebody. You're not just collecting data for the sake of collecting data. And a lot of this information you're not going to get unless you do what?
Keep in contact.
Keep in contact. That's right. You got to be in relationship. You can't just harvest data on the back end and hide and be a secret agent. You got to talk to these people. And I know who you are. And I know who a lot of you are. And you're scared to death to pick up one of these and call somebody. Deborah, you're laughing, but you know it's true, right?
Yes.
Right? We say, hey, you got to call people every day. And they go, oh, snap, I can't do that. You're in the wrong business.
Now I think of all that I have to do anyway.
You got to be deliberate and call people. Don't be the person that actually goes, well, I made 10 calls and I prayed to God that nobody answered. You know who you are. Right, Erica? All right, so that's Contacts. Now, I'm going to talk to you later. If you guys stick around, I'll show you Facebook. There is a way to export through a Chrome extension to get birth dates and social media links through Facebook. And you can bring some of that data in. I'll come back to that, okay? There also is a way inside of Facebook for you to create lists. So if you guys created tags inside a command that I'm coaching you to, what you should do, now they don't talk to each other this way, but it's a manual process for you that's valuable. You could separate your Facebook friends lists and call those lists whatever your tags were, right? And filter your Facebook list by those groups or those lists, right? So I have Dallas Little League Baseball. I've got Ashburn Hockey. I've got work. I've got Arizona. I've got friends. I've got clients. I've got IUPs where I went to college. JHS is where I went to high school. JHS is my graduating class or my fraternity. So all of those Facebook lists are also tags inside of Command. So I can post things on Facebook, on social media, directly to certain lists of people versus just generally, because remember, Facebook is an algorithm. If I just post to all, a small percentage of people see things. If I post deliberately to a list, then everybody in that list sees it. Does that make sense? It's not a Facebook class, but these are tools that you need to know that you can leverage in your world. And that's just something I think they should mirror each other. So I do want you to know that. Okay, tag. So I want everybody to log into their command right now. Okay, agent.kw.com. I want you to log in. So we talked about being organized and talked about being careful of create on the fly. And I gave you some examples of tags that you could use. We're going to go ahead and build some right now. I'm going to show you how to build them. They're easy, super easy. Okay, and here's some additional examples. Remember, you guys are going to get these lists, but here's some examples of what tags might look like for you, right? Daily 2, which is organizing your database by first and last name. We will tell you, and your PC coaches will coach you, that you should be calling everybody in your database 4 times a year, called quarterly call plan, okay? If you take the alphabet, okay, and you divide it in half, that's 13. And you create tags for the entire alphabet, okay? A and W is an example, and there's an actual list that I'll send you, A and W, B and H, J and K, that will group all those tags together. So every week for 13 weeks, you call everybody in that category. And over 13 weeks or 1 quarter, you will call everybody in your database. It's just systematizing your process, right? You're taking the thought process out of who I call. Because here's what you will do. You will hide behind the comfortable conversations. I call the people that it's easy for me to call, right? I have a relationship with Deborah, so I'll call Deborah. But I don't have a relationship with Diane, so maybe I don't call Diane. But if Diane is under my L calls, then I got to call her. Or at least the system's telling me I need to call her. Whether I do or not is entirely up to you. But it's reminding me that I need to call her that week. So organization in your world is everything. Does that make sense? Here's other examples, right? High school, college, fraternal, are they refer, are they an advocate, vendor partner, military service, first-time buyers, are they luxury, are they investors, do they play tennis, do they do golf, are they involved with charitable organizations? There's no wrong answer here. This is just some examples from my world that I'm sharing with you. Okay, you'll get this list because I'm going to send you the slides. Then we're going to talk about custom fields, right? Custom fields are beyond tags because there are some things that people have in common where you find out you ask the same questions all the time. You can build the system to remind you to answer the same questions. Do they own or do they lease? What is their birthday? What are their kids' names? Do they have cats? What's their favorite superhero, right? What's their sports team, right? There's no Cowboys fans on here, right? I can't be friends with you if you're a Cowboys fan. Oh, sorry, Tamika, you're out. More you know about people, the more you know about, you see my helmet, right? The more you know about people, the more you're in relationship with them. So the questions you ask matter, and tracking that data matters for you. All right. What is their hometown? What's their favorite sports team? What's their pies? It's just examples of things that I collect for people. Now I'm going to show you how to do this. I'm going to show you how to put this data into your system. So everybody go ahead and log into Command, okay? And go to the contacts page. Now, the reason I'm going to show you tags and questions first before you import anything is because setup matters. Set your system up first. Be prepared for the data you're going to bring in. Be organized, be consistent, okay? Now, under your name, everybody go to your name in the upper right-hand side. Scroll down to settings. Is everybody with me? I don't want to rush. Is everybody logged in? Everybody click on their name. Everybody go to settings. Everybody should be on this page. Is everybody here? That wants to be here, okay? Then on the left, go to Command Settings. It's a little drop down over here on the left. Command Settings, okay? Go to Contacts. There's your drop down. Contact tags. Does everybody see contact tags? Yeah?
Yeah.
Awesome. Now, click on that. Now, your KW system will provide you with what we call default tags. Has everybody read this book? Does everybody have this book? If you don't have this book, get it. Go to your team leader, go to your PC coach, and you can tell them, hey, Dave Donaldson says I should have this book. Where do I get it? And it will help you get it. Most of your market centers will have this, where they can either lend it to you or get you a copy of it, however that looks. This is the millionaire. Literally, Gary Keller, his name's on the bottom, wrote the book on real estate. Okay. Just in case you guys are wondering, today, Gary was named the #1 real estate influencer by the Swanepoel poll today, which is not surprising to anybody. Read this book. Now, I have the teacher's edition, which is awesome. Spiral bound. There you go. Thanks, Deborah. Right. She's got the hard copy. I like the spiral bound. The reason I did the spiral bound is because I wore out my book copy. And then I lent it to somebody and they stole it because it was highlighted. So now this one doesn't leave my desk. But in here, we're going to talk, they talk to you about categories, tags, and they're in your system. Client, past client, sold, bought, buyer, listing, vendor, allied resource, referral. They're already in your system. So you don't have to recreate the wheel on those, okay? What you do is create are the ones that apply to your world, like I was just going over. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to click create tag in the upper right-hand side. Does everybody see that button? If it's behind my picture, minimize my picture.
Yeah.
Create tag. I want you to type in, I don't care, your hometown, your college, previous place of employment, okay? Little league soccer, hockey, PTO, church. What do the most people in your world have in common with you? Right? What do they have in common with you? And you're going to create one of those. Now, right, so you see I've got a lot here. And then there's a color. Colors, the names matter. And I'm going to tell you that you can treat colors as like a secondary filter. And maybe your colors mean something to you. Right? Maybe everybody in your personal sphere is gold. Friends, family, high school, college, they're all the same color, but they're different branded. Names are different, okay? Maybe everything that's a lead for you, open house, Facebook, Instagram, referral, maybe they're all purple, right? Maybe everybody that you meet that's through your office, right? Because you're going to have agents in your database too, and you should. And whether they're from KW or they're from another brokerage, maybe they're all red, right? Because at some point they came from another brokerage like Mark did and I did, and they're going to be red because they're going to join KW because they're going to see the light. Right? Those things happen too, right? And you're going to build your downline. Right? We don't judge people for being wrong, but that's okay.
I have a question.
Yeah.
What is the difference between source and tag? Because when I imported some of my contacts, like in the source, I put that my previous clients, like Hyundai clients, or I was in car business, my clients. Sure. And then in a tag, I tag them as my client, or what's the difference between source?
There is similarity, and that's a great question. Okay. I focus more on tags than sources, but think about it this way. Tags are what do they have in common for me? All right. Past clients, high school, college. Sources, where did they come from? Right? Because they could be from college. Okay. But maybe they're in my database because they're my sphere of influence, because I've SOI. Or maybe somebody else from college referred them to me, right? Or I met them later. So the source is, how did they end up in your world? Okay. It's not just because you knew them and what they had in common, but it's also where did they come from?
Okay.
Right? They could be a buyer, but I met them at an open house. The source was the open house.
Okay.
That's the difference. And sources, I think there's 76 different sources that are already provided from you in the system, and they're filtered by marketing and referral and business. So when you actually go into the source, you'll see there's a lot of different categories already for there. You shouldn't have to create source categories, although you can, but it is easy to confuse source and tag. I will ask you to focus on tag first, and then think about the source of where did they come from. Okay. So the source can be one of two things. And when we enter context, you'll see this. They can either be those categories, sphere of influence, open house, where they come, or they could also be a person, right? Julie could have ended up in my database because you referred her to me. So therefore you're the source. So we can build like a referral tree in the system where we can track who did these people in my database, where did they come from, and who brought them to me. I can do that too.
Okay.
That's the difference between tag and source. So I want you guys to get in the habit now of building your tags, write out your list, and create them.
Nice.
Okay, so that when you import and you bring people in, you don't have to think about the tag. You already have the list.
Okay.
Very simple, right? Type in the name, give it a color, hit create. You now have tags. You'll see I've got 114 different tags. You'll see system tags are those default tags. Created by is the person who created them. That's me. And if I'm on a team, then it might be the Rainmaker or the admin. That's why you see different names there. Okay. And later, when we get more data, which I have all these tags, it'll tell me how many people are in contacts in my database have that tag. And yes, nobody asked, but I'll give you the answer anyways. Obviously, you can have more than one tag per person. Okay. Comma separated when you're importing them. So in that spreadsheet where it says tags, that could be an A contact, comma, hockey, comma, church. And it'll tag them with all three. Sound good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's creating tags. Next, on the left are custom fields. Everybody see that?
Yes.
Click on custom fields. And you're all going to add this question right now. So on the upper right-hand side, I want you to click create custom field. Everybody click that button. And
Okay.
I want you to type this in just as I'm doing. Do they own or lease? Question mark. Hold
Do
on.
they own?
Do they own or lease? Question mark. The question that you should know about every single person in your database. Do they own or do they lease? Can anybody argue with me that you shouldn't know that information about every single person that's in your data bank? Don't try because you'll lose. Okay, great. All right. Do they own or do they lease? Now the answer is, how do you answer that? Now, below that it says custom field type. Okay. I can make it a text. I can make it a drop down. I can add dates. I can add numbers, right? Depending on what the question is, I can format the answer. If I do a text field, that means I type in any answer. And I don't like that option because I want consistency in my answers, right? If I ask myself the question, do they own or do they lease? I could say any number of things if I use text field. Live in a van down by the river, live in their parents' basement, living in the garage above their kid's house, living in a mobile mini on the back acre of my lot, right? No, very simple. Do they own or do they lease? So my answer, when I format it, is a drop down. And this is what I want you to do. I want you to select drop down. I want you to type in own. Okay. I want you to click add drop down and I want you to type lease. Okay. And then I want you to check this box that says make custom field default. And then I want you to click create. Okay. Is everybody done? Everybody do that? Okay. Now, I want you to add another question. Okay. And this question can be anything you want. Anything you want. I don't care. What is their pie choice?
Referral. Would that be, that's not anywhere else in the system, is it?
Referral will be a tag or a source.
So that's not a custom field. Okay,
It's not a question.
that's true. Okay.
Question. Think about when so I have had people use these questions to everything you ask a new incoming buyer. What does that look like? Okay.
Okay.
There's no wrong question. Like I said, what's their superhero? What is their hometown? I want you to write this. Let's just do that. What is your hometown? Okay. Field type. Now that one would actually have to be a text field, right? Because I got to type in an answer because I can't put every single I'm going to type that in. And I may or may not make that a custom field. Just leave that one blank for now and then click create. Okay. Now, when we come back to that and we start filling in a contact record, I'm going to show you the difference. But the difference is this. The default question means that on every contact I add, I have the ability to answer the question. If I don't mark it as default, the question doesn't show on the contact card, but I can add it later. And the reason I said pie choice is because my market center, the agents give pies every Thanksgiving, right? So anybody in my world that has bought, sold, invested, or referred to me that year, okay, or my core people, I give a pie to every year. So I have questions in my data bank that say, what's their pie choice? So I know, hey, last year you got pumpkin, or last year I gave you pecan, or last year I gave you apple. And I can refer.
What's the difference between text field and text area?
It's the number of characters, and I don't know what the difference is.
Okay.
You know, I get asked that a lot, and I never go find the answer. Sorry. But it's the character count. All right, so that's tags, and that is custom fields. So now we're going to walk through this, and we're going to do this relatively quickly, okay? Straighten up. I want you to all go back to your contacts home screen, right? And on the top right-hand side, we're going to walk through a contact real quick. We're going to input a contact. I want you to click the plus button that says add a contact. This is adding a singular contact, or one at a time. Click add contact. And I want you to start putting data in. And you have to keep up. I'll walk you through this, but I want you to put yourself in if you're not in your data bank. Put yourself in, put your mom in, put your dad in, put your cousin, put your friends. I don't care. I want you to put somebody in your database. I want you to walk through this. And while you're doing it, I'm going to explain some of the features to you as to what data it is that you're giving it. Sound good? All right. So I'm going to go ahead and put Deborah in here. Okay. I would put her work address in there. I'm just going to make up. Right. Phone number. Okay. Now, as I'm putting that contact information, right above that is an add relationship button. If they're married or they have a significant other, you can add them right here. And you're not limited to one person. You can add multiples, but typically here, you're putting their immediate contact, right? Your immediate. I'm not usually putting sons, daughters, aunts, uncles, cousins here. I'm putting significant others here, okay? Husbands, wives, whatever that looks like for them. I'm adding them in. What that does, it creates a second contact card for that person, and it links them together. So I will add them here. Now, as I'm walking down this list, it says lead source type, select from list, which Mudasar was asking me earlier. You'll see that there are like 95 different options in here. Where did they come from? How did they end up in my database? Where did that lead come from? Where did that contact come from? So you'll just have to kind of scroll through where you get comfortable with that, right? And then next to that, it says select from contacts, right? So if Deborah came to me by way of Vicky, and I know Vicky's in my database, I can link them together because they referred together to me, right? So that's kind of ties back to that referral, Deborah, that you were asking earlier, or if they were a referral from another contact that's already in my database, I would sync them under the select contacts and tie them together that way. Make sense? Now, mark as a lead or add to sales pipeline. I want you to ignore add to sales pipeline for right now. And mark as a lead is just a checkbox. That's all it does. And remember yesterday, I told you a mark as a lead means it's a one-way conversation. So if Deborah, I got your contact information from Vicky, but you and I haven't spoken yet, in my world, you're a lead because we don't have a relationship yet. So I might mark you as a lead. The moment you and I connect and have a conversation about doing something in real estate, and I know who you are and you know who I am, right? Then you're no longer a lead. You're now just a contact. That's the difference. That's how I look at things inside of Command. That's how Command wants you to look at things in a relationship standpoint, okay?
So if I'm just putting my husband in here, like I didn't see a lead source that would be appropriate.
SOI, sphere of influence.
Okay.
They don't have to have a lead source, right? Some people don't go to that level, but most people are going to be SOI, sphere of influence.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. All right, and then you've got tags, right? So if your tags are already in your system, then your tags are here. Now you can create tags on the fly. So if I start typing out a tag, then it'll ask me to create a custom tag. I am asking you, I am imploring you, I am begging you to not create tags on the fly. Please keep your database organized. Because here's the thing, notice I did open house and Julie's laughing because she's like, I know he's talking to me. I typed open house and I didn't put a space here. So I might have open house, right? That has a space in it. I might have open house with a capital, right? Capital letters. It doesn't know the difference. It's not going to say, hey, do you want this already? Did this already exist? Right? Unless you're scrolling through, maybe you type partial letters. So I want you to be careful and deliberate with how you're tagging people and make sure the tag doesn't already exist in your world. That's why I said print it out. I'm just looking out for you and I can't talk about that enough. Okay. Then you've got an add more information button. Don't think you just create and done. Okay. Add more information is where I want you to go next. Okay. Add additional contact information. How do they want to be contacted? Email, phone, text, or do not contact. This is nothing more than information for you. It doesn't control anything. If I put do not contact, it's not going to not send them an email if I tell the system to send an email. It's just you knowing how your clients want to be talked to. Some people prefer text. Some people prefer email. Some people I don't want to send anything to, although they are somebody in my world. They just don't want to receive anything. That's okay. So that's all this is. Additional information. You saw email and phone number at the top, but obviously people have multiple emails, multiple phone numbers. You're adding additional information here. Addresses are important. Okay, we're going to talk more about that for smart plans here in a minute. But their home address. When you type in their home address, I want you to actually type the home address. Okay. And select it from the list. I don't want you to type it all the way in and hit enter. I want you to select it because the list pulls from Google Maps and it will pin it to a map that we're going to use in smart plans. Now, if the address does not exist, new development, whatever, it's not existing yet, you can type it in and the system will, if I just keep typing here, at some point, it'll get to the point it says it doesn't recognize the address. You can create it manually. You can go ahead and do that. But 97% of the addresses are going to be in the system already. So select it from the drop-down list. That does matter for later. Okay. All right. Social media profiles, right? I told you that those were rare. So you could actually go to Facebook. And if you were friends with this person, you could go to their Facebook page. I'll just grab an example here. I know you're not seeing this, but I'm just grabbing your. I'm literally just going to Facebook and copying, pasting somebody's domain. I can paste it in there. Okay. And I can click additional ones, right? If I want multiple social media profiles, you see Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, Pinterest, Google, Snapchat, House, Link, High Five, MySpace. So I always find that funny that's there. Or just a generic URL. So you can have multiple connections there. All right. Same as mailing address. You want to check that if that's accurate. You can add multiple addresses because some people have multiple properties. So you add as much information as you can. Then you have the about me, right? There are other relationships. I did significant other up top, but maybe I knew who their father, son, daughter, brother, sister, aunt, uncle, cousin, sibling, cousin, grandparent, stepchild. Like there's like 30 options in here. Build that family tree inside your data bank. Okay. Now, right now you're just collecting data. I can't print off a family tree or anything like that, or a referral tree, but in the future we will. But you want to connect as many people as possible in your world. Where do they work? Right. And then custom. Look what's here. My default question is here. Do they own or lease? Okay. What is your hometown? Now at the bottom here, I've got add custom field. Notice pie choice is not here. So I click add custom field and I go to my list of other questions. That's the difference between default and custom questions. Okay. Then when I click create, This person is now added to my database. So when I go to all contacts and I look at Deborah, I now see Deborah in my data bank. Right? I have a 92% score for Deborah because basically I put everything in there but her birthday, and I'm missing one other thing. Lead source. I didn't give her a lead source. Oh no, I tied her to Vicky. So anyways, I'm missing one other thing. But you see all the contact information is there, right? You'll see that I put an address of my market center and it pinned it to a map, which we're going to talk about smart plans here in a second. Address is here, the mailing address is there, the social media link was there, right? Her job, her position. I'm missing her birth date. But that's just more information that I can, if I needed to add or edit anything, I just go to the editing pencil and update that information. Okay. On the right-hand side of a contact card, you've got timeline. All your engagement tracks on the timeline. Okay. So if I send her an email, it'll say that I sent her an email. If she's looking for property on the mobile app and she has an account, that'll show up here. Say that Deborah was searching for property on my mobile app. Okay. If I emailed her, texted her, called her, all that is trackable on your timeline. Opportunities, which we're going to talk about on Thursday. I can create an opportunity to track somebody, what they're doing. Smart plans, which we're going to add in a minute, is that activity-based platform that happens on the back end. Tasks. Maybe I need to schedule a one-on-one, right? Because I also will track agents in here. Priority level. And when do I want to have it due date? Great task, right? The reason I have the tasks because I have a task bar over here that I can track that also will come to my phone and say, I'm supposed to do something today and go meet with Deborah, right? That comes from my command app. Notes, right? I can add a note. We're all used to notes. Right, I met her in my January class for Jumpstart into Command. Nope. And then the question that Deborah asked me earlier was, how do I set them up on a search? So here's Save Search. You guys all see that? So I can actually create a Save Search. I could search by neighborhood or zip code. Okay. Select that from the dropdown. I can only enter one zip code at a time. Okay. We're working on some additional features. That's why I said if they're hyper focused, I'm still using Bright if they're buying now. But this is for that generic. I could just set them up either by neighborhoods. And I could search by neighborhoods, right? Neighborhoods, not cities. Okay.
Dave, question. Because I added a contact, but then I don't see it. It always doesn't show immediately. Do I have to go?
You just got to make sure you click save at the bottom of the contact card and it will show up immediately.
Okay, yeah, I did that. I'll try it again. Thank you.
And the only thing I would say, where did you add them? Are you on a team? Are you in your personal account? Things like that do matter. All right. So sorry, I was on a Save Search here. Save Search, neighborhood. I was doing zip code, change up the zip code. Price point. All right, let's just make something up.
So on the Save Search, you can only do it by one zip code at a time. Like you have to create a new search for a different zip code.
I can't string zip codes together. That's correct. Okay. And I'll show you how I do it right now. In the future, we may have the ability to do that. Sometimes mapping is better. That's just how ours is created right now. I could type in pool or main level living. The challenge with keywords is that you're at the mercy of the results page that the other realtors put into their listings. So that if I put pool, I'll get some, but I don't always get all. If I put main level living or what they call that. So careful with keyword search, okay? Property type, all will be defaulted, but I can change that to just houses, right? Or maybe houses, but take off multifamily or apartments or whatever. Listing status, just show me for all. I don't want to see pendings. All right. Beds, baths. built any, you kind of get the point there. Has parking, next. Let's just do it on a map. So you can see what it looks like on the map. So I'm just going to select a couple areas in Falls Church. You can actually select multiple areas. That's why I like this more so than the map than the zip code. And it's going to ask you to save the search. Okay, now it's going to say, do you want to send email notifications? Now, if I created multiple zip code searches, right? This is the question Emma was asking. It's going to email her every different zip code. Okay. I don't necessarily want to do that. I actually prefer to send them push notifications to their phone. So I could turn on email notifications. If I do that, it's going to ask me, what frequency do I want to email them at? Instant, daily, biweekly, or monthly? Know your audience, right? If I don't turn email on, here's what happens. And let's make sure that if they've downloaded my mobile app and it's branded to me, okay, then all notifications will just go to their phone and not their email. So it's a conversation you can have with your consumer. Do you want me to email all this stuff, or you just want to get it all on your phone? And when I'm doing multiple zip code searches, I like just sending it to their phone. So know your audience. So I want you to test this on yourself. Right? Set yourself up and save purchase searches, see how they ping back to your phone, search your property, see how they go back to your contact card, so you can track the activity of everything that's going on. So that's creating a safe search. You'll notice that it's not as dynamic as the MLS, so that now you know why I say do one or the other or both, depending on what your audience is, right? We have the address. So questions on contact card before I go ahead and jump into smart plans. Give it as much information as you can, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So now we're going to
It's
jump.
great, really. I mean, this is great, especially if they get the information on the KW app and they want more information because it's not here, then you go into Bright and you're having that interaction.
Well, all the information's there, right? Because now, had you been serving search, I'm going to see all the properties you looked at right here. I could text message you directly from here. Hey, I saw you were looking at 123 Main Street. It's a perfect house for you. Soon, we're going to have this thing called collections. I'll just kind of give you a little bit of insight. Julie, the classes are now from 9 to 11. Doing them more over 1 week than over 2 weeks.
Okay, I'll join again tomorrow. Sorry, I thought it ended at 10. So
that's okay. And
okay.
Remember, this will be recorded.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Okay, so what was I just saying? Somebody remind me of what I was just
about saying. The new
collections. So here's so when we do safe searches, right? Safe searches are very generic. 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, $500,000 to $700,000 in this zip code. We're soon going to have a thing called collections, which I love because this again heightens the level of awareness for you as the realtor. Here are the properties that meet your criteria that I have picked for you. Right? It doesn't update. It's not based on the safe search. It's me basically sending you a listing of the properties that I have specifically chosen that work for you. Called collections. I really like that. It's something that we're going to have soon, sometime first quarter, I think. We're labbing it right now. A little different functionality, a heightened level of safe search that's more specific for the consumer, right? That's in the buy now type of mindset or sell now type of mindset.
So David, that's just like concierge and MLS, right?
Yeah, exactly right. So I'm excited to have our hands on it. And that's just me giving you examples of things that we're constantly evolving on. I can't, how many different times I say over the last 2 days that, hey, here are things we're on the roadmap for the first quarter, right? The system is evolving. All right, so let's jump into what we call smart plans, okay? And I'm going to talk to you about what I call the big 3, okay? There are 3 smart plans that I want you to start with. Quarterly call plan, birth dates, and biweekly neighborhood nurture. KW has created plans for you There are 10 plans inside the system that are already there for you already that you can go, and you can go to a library and select which plans you want to use in your world. And the really cool thing is, which I'm not going to show you today, but you can look at them, is that you can create your own smart plan, okay, custom, and you can copy smart plans that other realtors have created, right? Sometimes realtors are smarter than we are. And I like to recreate the wheel, and I'm a solo agent. And I don't have to think about it. I want to go steal Erica's smart plan because she's got a great open house plan. If she's made that public, I can copy that. If Mark has a great Facebook lead follow-up system and he publishes that in our system, I can go copy that and bring that into my world. Right? That's what I love about KW is that we're open door. Agents helping agents. I'm not paranoid that I'm doing something so special, so specific that I don't want to share with any of you. If you've been with other companies, you know what I'm talking about. That does exist out there, closed door. I'm not worried about it. I know what I do, and I will tell you exactly how I run my business, how I built my business, and what I do. And if you go do the same thing, I'm not worried about losing any clients to you. It's just not. There's enough business out there for everybody. There's nothing proprietary. I'm an open book, and that's how you should be too. All right, so smart plans. You see my smart plans, which means are yours. What are you using? What are you running? Not necessarily what did you create. And library. So I want you to all go to smart plans, click the red KW, go down to smart plans, and click into smart plans. Okay. Once you are in smart plans, you will see my smart plans. And if you've downloaded any, you'll see some there. And then there is library. I want you to go to the library. Go to the library. Don't make any noise in the library. My jokes are funny and corny, but you know, I talk for 2 hours. I have to entertain myself. Okay. So here's your smart plans library. At the top, you're going to see featured. Right? So somebody at KW is going through different plans and featuring things, saying, hey, these are great for you to have. You can look at those. To start, we're going to look at the ones that KW has developed. They're right here, KW. There are 10. Okay. Biweekly neighborhood nurture, 8x8, quarterly call plan, midterm nurture, long-term nurture, birthday, monthly neighborhood nurture, and open house follow-up. As I mentioned, I talk about the big three just because I can't talk about all of them, but I'm going to show you how you can look at and evaluate any smart plan that's in here. Bi-weekly neighborhood nurture is what I want you to download. But if you click on this view steps button, it tells you exactly what it's going to do. It's going to send an email. It's going to wait 4 days or 14 days. It's going to send another email. Basically, what this is a property search update. That's what a bi-weekly neighborhood nurture is. It's a property search update, not safe search on a neighborhood, but based off of that address that we put in. Remember, we put an address in. I said, this is their home address, right? So it's going to pull their neighborhood and it's going to send them updates for their neighborhood every 2 weeks. I like the bi-weekly neighborhood nurture more so than the monthly. The market's rapidly changing and evolving. So I like them receiving an email from me every 2 weeks, which is 2 touches. That's, we're doing math at home. That's 24 touches a year. For anybody that hears us talk about 36 touches, that's how many times you should reach out to somebody during a year for them to think of you as a realtor. I just gave you 24 touches. It's simple, it's passive, people like it. And you can develop it to a higher level, which I'm going to show you in a minute. That won't just be where they live, it'll be where they came from and where they want to go. You do that, they'll never quit you, I promise you. But that's a bi-weekly neighborhood nurture. A monthly neighborhood nurture would be once a month versus every other week. That's the only difference there, right? Quarterly call plan, few steps. Make a phone call, wait 90 days, call them again, right? So if you organize your database with what we call that daily 2, a lot of your PC coaches will use that, where you organize your database by A&W, J&K, H&E by the last name of their alphabet. You put them on a quarterly call plan, then it will tell you each week who to call. Okay. You don't want to put everybody, so you have to be systematic and smarter than the system sometimes. If I went in my database, and I'll show you what that looks like, I say, hey, add everybody to a quarterly call plan, but I'm not specific about their tags. It'll take all 1,500 people in my database, put it on a quarterly call plan. So once a quarter, every day on the 11th of the quarter of the first month of that quarter, it'll tell me I have to call 1,500 people. I'm not going to call 1,500 people. Right, so I can tell the system to stagger. I can do it by tags, which I recommend, A and K, J and K, A and W, whatever, right, X, Y, Z. And then I could also say, but only tell me to call 5 or 10 or 15 people per day. Right? That way I'm not getting overwhelmed by the amount of calls I need to make on a particular. When we launch it, you'll see what that looks like. But I want you to know the system can fluctuate based off of your needs. Okay.
So do we need to put in tags for, like you were saying, to organize the last names like A&W, J&K,
I
whatever?
do recommend it.
And is
That's
there
right.
a template for that, like a
Yeah,
list of?
I will send you, actually, I'll send you a template with the configuration, and the configure is based off of somebody with calculus degree, I'm certain, says, hey, if you match these first and or these last names together in pair, it's easily manageable versus you don't want to put like S and R together, right? So it spreads them out in a way that's supposed to be manageable. And I also have what weeks they should marry up with what weeks. So what you do is you're going to launch a smart plan for your A's, then you're going to launch a smart plan for your B's, then a smart plan for your C's. And then every quarter it'll work you through and in that week, you should call all your C's or call all your A's or call all your B's or your R's.
Okay.
And it'll give you a couple each day to work you through that list. Make sense? Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So now I'm just kind of covering the other one. I said the big three, right? Which was biweekly neighborhood nurture, quarterly call plan. Oh, clicking on the wrong arrow. And the one that I like is the birthday. Right. So if you look at the birthday, and this is also a great example for knowing how do more dynamic smart plans work. You'll see here that the first thing in a birthday smart plan is the touch task. And it actually tells you what you should be doing. Send a handwritten note to contact, and their name will surface when they're on the smart plan. Their birthday is this week on Friday. This is part of the birthday plan. So 6 days out, it's telling you to send a card to Sabrina because her birthday is next week or 6 days from now. Okay. Then it waits 4 days. And then it tells you, you should call Sabrina to say happy birthday. Now, yes, this call actually happens the day before her actual birthday. Why? I want you to be first. They want you to call her first. So it's telling you to actually call her the day before her actual birthday. Pretty cool, right? Then it's waiting a day. Then it's another touch pass. Put a social media post. Happy birthday, Sabrina. Put it on her wall, right? Then maybe send a text that says happy birthday. Now, I will tell you this, right? If you're not first, you're last. This is a lot for somebody's birthday, okay? And I'm not telling you you have to do all 6 of these things. What I'm telling you, if you set up the smart plan and you did 2 of these things, you made a call, you put a note in the car, you sent them a text, they're going to think of you more than grandma because grandma's not doing all that. Like I told you, grandma's just getting on their Facebook wall now, right? Grandma might just send them a pinch, post. Grandma might not call her anymore. I used to get cards from my grandma with $1 for every day of how old I was. That got quite expensive, right? So she's not doing that to me anymore. It stopped when I was like 21. It was cute and then it got expensive, I think, is really what she realized. But now she just says happy birthday on my wall. She didn't call me no more. Happy birthday. She's lost on my list of 300 people. And then I have to call her and say thanks. Because if I don't call her and say thanks, she gets mad. You all know what I'm talking about. All right, so that's the example. What's really cool is what these pre-built systems, whether it's from KW, it's telling you what to say. If it's a phone call, it's telling you what to say. Call contact and say happy birthday. Right? If it's an open house follow-up plan, here's the text message that will go out. Right? Here's what you're supposed to do. Here's the phone call. It's giving you scripts. It's telling you what to do and what to say. So those excuses of, I don't know what to say when I call somebody, I'm removing those from you because we're telling you what to do. And here's the cool thing. When you bring these into your database, maybe it doesn't sound like this is you. Change the verbiage. You don't have to say what it tells you to say. And you can actually log in and change the script because you've made a copy of this, basically is what you've done. I've made a copy of this smart plan, this open house follow-up. I'm bringing it in my database and maybe I tweak it and change it. I don't like what this says, but this is how I would say it. Or this is the email that was written, but this is how I would say it. You get to customize it. Make it yours. That's what's personal about real estate. You have to be personable. You can't be canned. People always say, I don't like to make phone calls because they sound scripted. No, you're looking at it the wrong way. We all have scripts. I'm teaching you from a script that I've developed over years of training, but it's internal to me now. I've internalized it. So my message is personal, how I talk to you. If you've been to my classes, you'll see that every one of my classes is a little bit different depending on the mood I'm in, what I learned that day, how much coffee I've had, who I met, right? The message is the same. I'm scripted, but it varies. So once you internalize a script, it becomes yours. You develop mastery. So then you can talk about different things. You learn how to react to no, right? No means not right now, in case you were wondering, right? So you pivot, you learn, you develop.
This is good, David. This is a crazy question, I think, but I always have a hard time wondering how to ask somebody what their birthday is.
Well, one, you can start with their Facebook page, right? And two, it's how you get in the conversation. Hey, you know what? I had this crazy thing where I was talking to Mark the other day, and he's a client of mine, and for his birthday, his kids got him whatever, right? You're just talking, and then you go, hey, so when is your birthday, right? What's that, August? You just spin it in the conversation. You can be directly, you don't want to be like, when's your birthday? Because I'm just taking notes, right? Spin it in the conversation. That's the hardest thing for most people. It's very natural for you to talk to anybody without thinking about it. But the moment you're thinking of being deliberate, all of a sudden we can't talk anymore.
It's like it's that initial conversation, then I feel like you said that I'm.
Well, and a lot of it comes to a comfortality, right? We don't feel comfortable getting personal with somebody. So that's the law of numbers I was talking about. If you've got 15,000 contacts in your database, it feels weird asking everybody their birthday if we don't have a relationship. But the more that you and I have talked, we've met, we've had coffee, whatever, right? It gets easier to have those questions. If you're just going through a list and asking them and it's canned, that's your body telling you you're not doing it right. That's why it's not comfortable.
So basically with the birthdays, it just happens after time.
Yeah. Or you can
as you build a relationship.
Or you could get it from Facebook and cheat and hope that you're right.
Okay.
Which, remember, if somebody hangs on at the end, I will show you how to do that. But anyways, so these are smart plans. I want you to start with these three. But just so you know, when you're looking through this page, there's a lot. I mean, there are top rated, there's 1,200 rated. And now if you go in, these are agent created smart plans. If you copy one of these, rank them, give them credit for them, right? You could search by category. If I literally did a search for open house, smart plan name, I'll see, if I could spell open house, there's 115 different open house smart plans, right? Because agents have created and uploaded their own smart plans. So you just go through these and say, hey, you know what? I see these, and then filter these by rankings. Show me all that have 4 stars or more. So now there's one open house follow-up plan, which is the KW one that has 4 stars or more. Or show me all the ones that have 3 stars or more. So I want more options. Oh, it's weird.
David, is it a limit to how many we can download?
Nope.
Okay.
Bring as many into your world as you want, right? You can search by topic. You can search by author. Like if I told you that my friend Marty Miller, right, makes great smart plans. Again, I say my good friend, if I could spell his name. Then you'll see all the smart plans created by Marty Miller. So you could search by author's name, right? Or I could search by description. Show me anyone that's talking about some sort of follow-up. So you think about what you're looking for, what other agents have done, what are you in business for, what are you trying to accomplish? There's no reason to recreate the wheel. Start with what somebody else has done, right? Copy, bring it here, view the steps. And then when you want to add the smart plan, I'm going to go back to smart plan name. I'm just going to clear this filter out, reset, right? And I just bring in this. If I'm, again, I want you to start with the big 3, biweekly neighborhood nurture, call plan, quarterly call plan, and then birthday. But in this case, maybe I'll add the open house if you want to download that too. If I've already downloaded it, it's going to tell me that I already have it. So you'll see that it's already in my system. So I don't need to download it again. If I had did something like the monthly neighborhood nurture, which might be made up of multiple smart plans, it'll say, hey, download this and this other smart plan because 2 smart plans make up 1. And then once you've copied them and brought them into your world, they'll be on this list. Buy smart plans. And then I can go in, I can search for open house. See that's on my list. I already have it. Different smart plans that I have. So now let me just kind of show you one, which is weird because I thought I just said I had open house. Whatever, I got different things going on. All right, so biweekly neighborhood nurture is the one that I like the most. And I'm going to talk about that here in a second. You'll see here, biweekly neighborhood, my biweekly neighborhood nurture. Now, if I literally go in here, I click to edit, there's nothing to edit because all I do is sending things out regularly. There's no email script, there's no text, right? But if it had a text or an email, I could tweak out that message, which you will see on the different smart plans. Some of them are made up that way. This one is just an annual event, set delay, and send. Okay, so if you remember when I was doing Deborah's contact card, I put her address in. Remember that? I put my work address in there. So now if I actually go to Deborah's contact card, okay, so let's look up Deborah again. You'll see that there are smart plans here, but there's no bubble next to it that says that I have one running. If I actually click smart plans, add to smart plan, which smart plan do I want to add Deborah to? I want to add it to my biweekly neighborhood nurture. Now know that my biweekly neighborhood nurture, which I'm going to show you here in a second, if I click select, it says, when do you want to start now, right away, or do you want to start at a specific date? It's entirely up to you. If this involved a call plan, it would ask me how many people a day do I want to call. That would be a third option here. Now, remember when I picked Deborah's address, it pinned her to this map. Now, here's a story I want you to think about for a second. It's very common for realtors to send email, mail, updates about the neighborhood that you live in, right? We've all seen that, right? Here's all the activity in your neighborhood. It's essentially what's happening here, right? Some people do it through MLS. Some people do it through our websites. We're doing it at what we call biweekly neighborhood nurture. So if I set this up and say, all right, Deborah, you're going to receive this twice a week, it's going to give you all the activity that's going on in this neighborhood of Winter Hill where you live. Great. Twice a week, that's going to come there. Anybody can do that. I'm going to challenge you to take it to another level. Do you remember when those custom questions I told you to ask somebody what their hometown was? I told you to ask somebody where they want to retire. You can only ask those questions over developing a relationship, right? Now imagine, so now I can actually click this button. It says add neighborhood, find on map. What if I had a conversation with Deborah and I learned that Deborah was from Jenkintown, because I have to search by neighbor. So I'm going to zoom in. I go up to Philadelphia because I know where the neighborhood is. I say that I know that she's from Philadelphia, right? And I know that she's from Lower Merion, Philadelphia. That's the neighborhood. And I add that, okay? So you now see that I've added a secondary neighborhood. So she has the original neighborhood of Winter Hill. Now she has a secondary neighborhood of Lower Merion, where she grew up. Now let's say that I know that she wants to retire to Gilbert, Arizona, in a neighborhood called Val Vista Lakes. There you go. Save, just an example. So now I've got 3 neighborhoods there. Okay. So every time I send her a biweekly neighborhood nurture email, not only is she getting emails updated about the properties around where she lives currently, she's receiving properties around where she grew up, right? And she's receiving properties about where she wants to go retire. If I click on preview, this is what that looks like. So think about the emotional response from somebody. I actually have set myself up on this, right? So Montana Village, which I said that's where she wants to retire. Lower Merion was where she was from, and Winter Hill is where she lives now. She can toggle through these neighborhoods. She can also add her own neighborhoods and update this and modify this for her. Okay. Now, if I told you that, her being from our Lower Merion, right, when she receives these, it elicits a response from her, depending on how large of an area we're from. I come from an area called Jenkintown. So when I receive these updates for myself, I see the properties where I maybe was drinking in the backyard, or I would hop through the fences down the alleyways to get home or go to school, or my friend Joe's house when he fell out of the tree and broke his arm, or where we played football, or we did all these different things. Like, we're going down memory lane. You're in a relationship with somebody. I'm not just sending them data for the sake of sending them data. Like, I still have people that live in this town, and then I see Joe's mom, this is a true story, just put her house for sale. Well, what did that prompt me to do? Call Joe. Hey, Joe, I saw your mom's for sale. Now, I also recognize that I missed the opportunity to maybe make a referral, but that's not why I do it. It's a conversation. So I reached out to Joe. He's like, yeah, Mom, she's selling the house. She bought his brother's house. She's moving into that, but she's selling her house. They've lived there for 47 years, right? You're in a relationship business. It allows you to be in relationships. So take it higher, take it to the next level. And now you say, hey, also they're looking at properties about where they live, where they grew up, and where they want to retire, right? They want to retire in Arizona. So here's the property. So they have their vision board going on right in front of them because you're presenting it to them of where they want to retire, where they want to go golf. Maybe it's Key West, maybe it's Arizona, maybe it's Lake Norman or Lake Charles or Smith Mountain Lake, wherever. But you're setting them up what they want because you ask the questions, because you put yourself in position through a relationship standpoint to ask the questions. You're not just going through a list. Or you don't want to be like, hey, where are you from? I'm going to send you emotional stuff and tear jerk with you. I want to, hey, where do you want to retire? I want to just kind of send you these things so that you have them and you're always looking at, no, you're not ever going to get information that way. You have a conversation. Pick up the phone and you talk. So that's why I talk about having 150. You can manage that with 150 people in your world, right? You can't manage that with 15,000 people in your world. It's not personal. You get to that level of detail, you get to that emotional response, you get 150 people that way, you're getting 10 deals a year at minimum out of that 150 people. That's where I'm coming from. That's what I'm trying to get you to think.
Do you have to ask for permission? Like if you're having these conversations with Deborah about where she grew up, where she wants to retire, where she's living now, and you set this up in the smart plan, are you asking her permission to send her this stuff or what?
I don't. I just send it because sometimes they get that and like, wow, that's awesome. My realtor was listening to me.
And do you have to, when you went into the smart plan or you went into Deborah's contact and you added her to the smart plan, do you have to do that for every single individual contact?
So yes and no. Okay. So I can do it individually or I can do it in bulk. Now, yes, the addresses obviously have to be there because they're unique to every person, right? The address or the neighborhoods. So you have to do that. But now once I have, let's say I've got everybody in my database, right? All these people named Deborah, maybe I wanted to put them all in their own individual ones. If they had that data tied to their contact card, I can check all their names. I can go to bulk action. I can click add to smart plan. Right? I could type in biweekly, and now I would add all these Deborahs to a biweekly neighborhood nurture that met their specific criteria. Right? It's not going to send them all the same information. It will only send them data if I have addresses pinned to their card.
And I assume that you can sort that rather than sorting it by Deborah. Like if, my closest friends are my college friends, and I've tagged all of them with my college name, like I can sort it that way too.
Exactly. See how tags are here? If I go to filter, when I go to tags, I can filter by any tags. And I create, so again, I don't have so much time in class. I can create tags. I can create filtered by tags, and I can save those, which are called smart views. Right? If I say show me, so if I create a tag and I filter by Ashburn, which is my hockey program, okay? Just here's everybody in my database from Ashburn. Don't look, Vicky. Here's everybody from Ashburn that I have contacts with, right? Now, instead of having to filter by them every time I'm going to go pull my Ashburn list, I can save this. So I come here in the middle. Okay. See how it says create smart view? It's recognizing that I've changed my search. Would you like to create a new saved search for your database? Create smart view. Hockey. Do I want it to be my default view? Typically, no, right? Your default view is either all contacts or something that you want to see every day, but you have all these other views, right? So save smart view. So now under this list, I've got all these saved searches, and this is the one I just created called hockey. Okay. Now the display can change too, right? So I saved it, last contact, recently active, primary. If I go to this customized columns, I have all this additional information. And depending on your search, you might want to see different pieces of information, right? Maybe I want their date of birth on here. When I check that, date of birth shows up on the right. Maybe I want the phone number first. Maybe I want their date of birth second. And then I want tags third. But I don't necessarily need their address. So I'm going to turn that one off. Or email. And I don't want to see, all right, I'm not going to see recently active, but I do want to know when I last contacted. Then when I click apply, it changes this filter. And if I click save smart view changes, every time I now go to that filter, I'll get this look. And then if I go back to my all display or different filters, it goes back to that display is however I created that custom display. So you can create multiple save filters, and the display for all those is completely different based off of the data that you're looking for. That's the uniqueness to your own database.
Thank you.
Now, there was a question that got asked in the beginning. How do I know who has my mobile app? I don't remember who asked that question, but that was a question, right? Glad you asked. So let me clear my filters. Clear all. Apply. Now, go back to my database as a whole, all contacts. Okay, so now I'm just in my standard database. I'm looking at everybody. And just so you know, on the right-hand side, yours probably says 1 of 25. You can change this from 1 of 25 all the way out to 500 contacts. Right, I have set for 100. But if I changed it to 50, save smart view change is going to ask me would I like to save that change I just made. So now when I toggle through, I see 50 at a time. No, I screwed up. I actually want to see 100 at a time. So I change it back. So you can change the amount of display people. People get afraid, I'm only looking at 25 at the time. I got to scroll through. No, you can change it right here. It's one of those little things. All right, so let's go to small contacts. Let's go to filters. You've got different tags here. Or I can search by tags. I can search by date created, last contacted. It only knows last contacted if I told the contact card, right? Only knows if I contacted them, if I sent them an email, if I made a phone call, sent a text message, and it recorded to their tax record. If I called them from my phone, the system doesn't know that I called them. However, if I have the mobile app, the command app on my phone, and I made a call, and then I tell it to record the call, it'll record that I made a call. Okay. Now at the bottom of this says branded to me. Branded to me. Yes. Now, this is my database. I don't have a ton in there, but I click branded to me. So these check marks are all the people that have downloaded my mobile app and created an account. That's branded to me. So what do? Create a smart view. App users, save view. So now I know everybody that has my app. And as somebody creates a new account, that list updates, right? So there's no limit to the amount of filters you can create. You can create as many as you want. Past clients, listers, sireds, bold, right? A contacts, B contacts, C contacts, branded to me, whatever. Create your own displays. Birthdays this month.
Dave, I'm sorry. How did you do that app one again? Because I really want to do that one.
Right, so go to filters. Branded to me. Yes.
Perfect.
Apply, it filters, right? And then just create a smart view and save that, app users, so you don't have to constantly be looking. And the cool thing is, then if you change this custom display for this one, I would do it this way. Recently active, I would put first. See, I can drag and drop. If I turn them on over here, then they become drag and droppable over here. I put recently active first, because then you can see the dates when they were last. See, I could see that Pat Donaldson was using my mobile app on January 3rd. They were recently active. They were recently looking at things, right? And if I go to their contact record, look at that. Here's all the properties that this client was looking at. Right, that's that trackability. And then I could actually click on the listing and look at the property. Right? So somebody asked me earlier, why would I do this here versus doing it on HomeSnap, right? I do it here because it's all in my database. This is why. This is why I want to see all that information. We've run a little bit long. So you guys 2 days in now. How do you guys feel?
Loaded.
More confident.
More confident. Okay, I like more confident.
Hey, David, this is Michelle
Hey,
Hoffman.
Kevin, that was a funny joke.
This is Michelle Hoffman.
Oh, hi.
I'm working for Kevin, and so my name comes up as Kevin.
Got it.
But I'm new to this, so I missed yesterday. And I know you had said there was a YouTube. I think you're putting it up right now where I can go.
Can I yell bingo?
Yes.
Can I yell
You
bingo?
can.
Who was on at the beginning of this call? What was the one question I said I was going to get asked today?
Oh,
How many
if someone's
times?
gonna ask this question.
Yep.
Well, you know. I just noticed that your kids played on Ashburn Extreme. My grandson did prior to COVID.
Oh, really?
He was a goalie. Yep.
My son's a goalie.
Yeah. His name is Jackson Hoffman.
I don't know.
He's now 10. Yeah, he was like 7, 8 when he was playing.
Oh,
So
my son's. I have a 10-year-old that plays for their travel team.
yeah, he was on the travel team as well.
Jackson Hoffman. We'll tell him to come back. We're always looking for more goalies.
Well, you know, I want him to come back because I love hockey. But his parents are like, you know.
All right, Vicky. So Vicky here, she's on the screen. Her son's on my son's team. He's U10. So we can get, so Vicky, we got to look up at Jackson Hoffman because we're losing our goalie next year.
Oh, yeah, but he's only 10.
My son's 10. So
Oh,
Vicky,
your son's 10. Oh, they could have been on the same team actually then.
I don't recognize the name.
Oh, okay.
I have a 15-year-old who's a goalie. He plays on the U16 travel team, and I have a 10-year-old who plays on the U10 travel team with Vicky's son.
I don't know. I just loved watching them play.
Often does sound familiar. Well, all right, maybe he was on the other team.
Yeah,
There are multiple travel teams.
right.
Anyway, small world, right?
Pardon me?
Small world.
Yes, exactly. When I saw that, I was like, oh my goodness. My husband and I are the grandparents that are like banging on the glass. Yeah, we're them.
Oh yeah, all grandparents are like that. I love that. My parents are the same way. Yeah.
Okay,
hockey's-
can you do me a favor? Because I'm blind in one eye and can't see out the other. It's youtube.com/
I just put it in chat. So if you click on the chat button, the link is there for you.
Oh, I see it. You're a dear. Thank you.
Absolutely. And I got bingo. So I win.
Yeah, well, you know.
All right. So let's just kind of go through, make sure we covered everything today. Tags, custom fields, contacts, smart views, smart plans, big three. We did all that. Smart plan configuration. There's the big three we talked about. Activate the big three, which we just did, but I wanted to make sure you go back and do that after class today. Get all the people in there. Next steps, build up the rest of those tags, right? You're going to get an email today with the slides, which will have a tag example listed there. It'll have your daily 2 contacts, the tagging alphabetically. I'll make sure you guys have that too. Share the mobile app with 10 people. Tomorrow we cover Facebook. One thing I didn't do was Facebook. If you want to stick around, I will show you that. The links, I gave you all the links yesterday. Tomorrow we have designs and campaigns. So that's tomorrow's class. We're just social media posts, Facebook advertising, creating flyers, listing presentations, buyer presentations, happy birthday, all that stuff. That's all in designs tomorrow. Okay. One other thing I have to tell you, if you haven't done it, you're going to want to have your marketing profile complete. The more you have there, the easier everything else happens. Right. So we talked about that too. Any questions? Anything I didn't cover today?
Yes, I had a question about the sending like individual email
Individual.
one by one, like
Right. Perfect.
through command.
Right. So if you send an individual email from your KW email, that's your individual email. That's going to record that you sent them an email.
Okay.
That'll track it. Now, I can send an individualized smart plan if I wanted to. I could send it to everybody or one person. Like I didn't go into smart plans because I don't like to go into too much depth, but you could. The best way is just your KW email. That's going to track everything.
Okay.
If I wanted to send the same email to everybody in my database, okay, I would go to smart plans. I would create a one-step email. Let's call it a say hi. Apply. It's going to ask me, what do I want to do with the smart plan? I just want to send an email, one step. Send email. Click on that. What's the subject? Say hi. Put in their contact name. Hi, Joe. All right. I know that's his last name, so we delete that. Hi, first name. First name. Just an example, right?
Hmm.
And then when I hit save, I will have created that email as a smart plan. I go back to my database and I can filter by tags, or I could send it to everybody by just checking all those boxes. Check. Send smart plan. There it is, smart plan. Say hi, test. This one, right? I can actually click on the arrow. It tells me what is going to be said when I send it out. When I hit select, it says, hey, do you want to send it now? Do I want to schedule it? And do I want to stagger those emails out over a couple of days like I would like a phone call? If I click confirm, that sends it to everybody. If I hit start now, it sends it to everybody right now.
Okay.
So that's how you would email in bulk, right? And if I'm sending individual emails, it'll still go out one-on-one. It's not like it's going to blacklist me because it's going to CCC, because it's going to send one to each person, and it records that against their contact record that I sent them that email.
Did I say that you can send bulk text through command?
I was just going to say, if I remember yesterday, we talked about turning on Twilio.
Mhm.
I wasn't there for the second hour, so I don't know.
So if you have a Twilio account, right, that's our texting service.
Ah, okay.
So if I come in here and say, hey, you know what, I want to text all these people. Send text message. What's the message? So you notice I'm typing my name here. This is important. So I've learned this by mistake. So when you're texting from here, it is your texting service, is not your personal cell phone. Okay. So sometimes when you text people from another texting service, they don't know who you are. So you want to make sure you mention who you are so they don't block you. Okay?
How does that show up on theirs? Like
It'll come across in there as a text.
but like, so when my husband texts me, it says Steve. So what will it show on theirs?
If that phone number is not in their phone, and if their phone doesn't recognize the number, it's just going to show a number. It'll say my cell phone number, which is, I don't know. I actually don't know my text number off the top of my head. And it's not on this page in my Twilio account, but it'll say text from 703-123-4567. And that's why I mentioned my name in the text. hi, this is David Donaldson wishing you Happy New Year.
Okay, so that's like people that you're texting that don't necessarily have you in their contacts in their phone.
Well, they could have me, but I'm not texting from my number. I'm texting from my Twilio number.
Oh, it's a different number. Okay.
Right. So you remember when so again, this ties back to the beginning when I was telling you when I add something in my database, one of my first communications I send to them is an email saying, hey, I may be texting you from my business number, which you might not recognize. And so when I text them, I'm saying, hi, this is David. This is my texting number for business. Add this to my contact record. So I proactively send that to them. So then when I receive multiple messages thereafter, they recognize the number.
Okay, thank you.
Twilio is a third-party company. We're working with them to try to work with it a little bit better, but that's the workarounds, right? You need to announce yourself to your people if you get in a habit of doing it up front, that when you first text them, because what happens is because of the TCPA, which is you can get fined for spamming people. The TCPA basically says, do I have the right to text this person or am I spamming them, right? And they can block you. And what happens is the first time you send them a text message, it'll say whatever the text is supposed to say. Then they will receive a second text message asking them if they would like to opt out. You can't control whether that sends or not. It sends. Second. That's why it's important that first message say who you are. Hi, this is Emma. We met at the open house. Or hi, this is Emma. This is my business number. Please add this to my contact record. This is my business texting service that I do use. Then when they receive the opt out, they can be more informed. That's Emma. I don't want to opt out. I do want to receive from her.
Can they call me on that number?
When you configure Twilio, there's an option that says, would you like cold forwarding? And it charges you 8 credits, okay? Or 6 credits, I forget exactly. And basically, if they call you, it'll forward to your phone. Okay. And it'll say incoming call, and it redirects from that text service number to your actual number.
Okay.
We don't have a call service set up, but we do have a forwarding set up, which is great because I've had people do that. Because they don't know, right? They just say, oh, that's Dave, and then it forwards to my phone. Now, what I don't do is because you get charged a couple credits a minute for talking, I don't hang up and say, hey, let me call you back from my other phone. I just talk. If they went out of their way to call me, I'm going to talk to them. And I'll eat whatever credits, which is inexpensive, that the system charges me to talk to them. Right. So you do want to go in and configure your Twilio account. Literally, it's like what I said yesterday, it was 150 credits per month for $3. $6 for 600 credits, $10 for 1,500 credits. It's relatively inexpensive. And the reason they use credits and not text messages is because depending on the length of the text message, or if it's a phone call, or if it's a multimedia, like I send them a GIF, or I send them a link, like those are different things. But when you click here, send text, it lays out the cost. It'll actually calculate the cost for you of credits. Like if I type out hi, right? You'll see the cost. There's 78 people, calculate cost. So it's going to cost me 67. It does tell you that you've got people in here with invalid numbers on this list. Would you like to remove them? Right. Do not send more than 200 text messages per day to unique visitors. You could get blocked and flagged. If I type this a lot more, I'm just going to put it. So once I go over 160 characters, or I include emojis, you see the cost changes. I didn't go over the amount, right? So, but it's over, I think it's over 165 characters. Oh, actually it's 134 characters. So you go. And then it'll charge me a little bit more. Now you do have a warning down here about do not TCPA business to business calls. Obviously, there's a business in real estate for reaching out to mass numbers. We're asking you not to do that. And I'm going to cancel. I'm not saying that. Those are some of the advanced features. Okay, so we did that. I'm running long, so I won't be able to go into the Facebook thing today. But if you are still interested, I can show you, remind me tomorrow. And I can go into that tomorrow. Does that work for everybody?
Yeah.
We'll record this, we'll post everything. Thank you all for sticking around for that stuck on for the extra 20 minutes. As you can see, like, we're just scratching the surface on some of this stuff. Throw yourself into it, use answers.kw.com. If you wanted to do it, it probably does. It's just a matter of figuring out how. Talk to your Market Center tech trainers, get the advanced training that you need once you've got the fundamentals in place, and keep learning. All right, I'll see you all tomorrow when we do designs and campaigns.
Thank you, Dave. Have a good day, you
Thank
guys.
you.
Take care, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.